Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Lance Crone here, and I'm bringing you guys a controversial video today because I love freaking doing that. So here's the deal. The scale isn't helping you reach your weight loss goals, and here's why, okay? That's what we're talking about today because I know that so many people are just like so focused on, if I could just be at this weight, or when I was doing this, I dropped X amount of pounds and then it all came back. Here's the deal. I want to give you a couple of things to focus on some other data markers besides the scale because the scale is not doing the trick for you. And unfortunately, you may not realize it, but the scale is actually keeping you from reaching your goals instead of helping you to push the needle forward. So if you're watching live or on replay, be sure to comment hashtag live or replay. Also, let me know which city and state or country you were born at in the comments also. Let me know. I just want to get to know you a little bit, so let's do that. All right, so without further ado, here's the deal, okay? Very first thing is stop setting weight loss goals and start setting goals for body fat percentage so that you're tracking a number that isn't watered down like the scale. What does it mean to be watered down by the scale? Well, what that means is that the scale is only going to show you a gross number. It's not telling you if that number that was lost, if it's water retention, if it's body fat, if it's muscle, if it's because you went to the bathroom. We don't know. We don't know what's happening. I've had people get excited because the scale was going down, and when I actually did their measurements and actually checked everything, we saw that what they were actually doing was losing lean body mass. That wasn't the goal. That was not the goal that they were doing. So shortly after that, of course, when I tested that and showed them, hey, the 6 pounds that you've lost, what we're seeing here is that you've gained, it was like 0.7 pounds of body fat and you've lost 6.4 pounds of lean body mass. This isn't something that you're wanting to do. Then the person was like, oh my gosh, so the scale definitely is not an indicator, not the ultimate indicator that what you're doing is actually working. So needless to say, after that, she started working with me and we started working on the program to start making sure that the focus was not the scale. And of course, she started seeing body fat decreasing instead of just the scale going down. So now it doesn't mean that if the scale is going down, that's a bad thing. My point is that it doesn't mean anything until you know the full data, and you can't know that by the scale alone. So here's what I would recommend. Number one, the scale doesn't tell how many pounds of fat or muscle have changed, only pounds. That's not good data. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're giving ourselves other data markers to tell a more complete story so that when we make a decision, if we need to make a decision to change something on our path, we're not doing it based on faulty data. Meaning that the scale's going down, so we didn't change our macros or didn't change our program whatsoever, but really the scale was going down because we're under eating and we're losing lean body mass. Those are things that we can't know unless we're doing measurements, photos, or other data marker analysis to where we're looking at it. So oftentimes we can lose body fat and the scale stays the same and someone will alter their entire program when it's actually working due to misreading the data thanks to the scale. What I mean by this is that sometimes what can happen is because you do have different days, you don't have a consistent, just in case you don't know this, guys, if you weigh 200 pounds today, your body is going to be somewhere between, let's say, 197 and 203 any given day of the week. You never stay the exact same. If you are, it's because you're trying to control everything to such a degree, you're probably very inhibited. The point is that on 7 days, maybe only 2 of those 7 days, if I were to take your weight measurement every day, only 2 of those 7 days will probably match one another. It might be 203, 201, 204, 200, 199, 206. You're going to have days where you have a high day, a low day, and a moderate day, etc. And if you go and step on the scale on a high day and then 2 days later step on it and it's a low day, and that causes you to think that you've lost body fat and realize, and without realizing that your body is just simply just altering its weight like it normally does from fluctuations, you might think that you just dropped 3 pounds or 2 pounds on the scale when in reality, because you don't understand that your body is just doing its normal fluctuations, you could be getting the signal to make improvements or to make changes, but you only focused on the scale, so you didn't get the data that you needed to make the decisions that would help you to move the needle better in the right direction. Does this make sense, guys? Let me know in the comments below if this is making sense to show you that the scale, while it can be a good data marker, it's not the only one. It really should never be the only one. All right, so number 3, women should be between 22 to 25% body fat, and men between 12 to 16 is the normal. Now, again, a lot of my clients, like I aim for 10% body fat for me as a male. A lot of my clients aim for like 20, 21%, even though 22 to 25% is considered healthy. The reason that this is such a better marker to aim for is because if you're aiming for, let's say if you're a woman watching this and you're aiming for 22% body fat. Now, again, if you're a little bit older, you can actually have more body fat than this because you need more body fat as you get older. But if you're aiming for 22% body fat, it's not a guarantee of what your weight could be because you might have more muscle, less muscle. But what is guaranteed is that if your body fat is going to be at that level, you're going to be healthy. You can be at a certain weight not guaranteed to be healthy, whereas if your body fat is in a healthy range, you are going to be healthy. Now, it doesn't mean that other things might not be wrong, but by overall health definitions, you're healthy if you're in a healthy body fat range. It doesn't mean necessarily that you're healthy just because you're at a weight range that the doctors, based on your BMI, tell you that you should be, okay? The fact is that the weight is not, it's just not going to give you the data markers that you need to give you a clear picture to make a decision. So let the scale be what it is. It's not you, it's not your worth. Body fat is going to represent your health and fitness. The scale does neither. It doesn't tell you that. So here's my final thing I'm going to leave you with. If you want to make sure that you're making decisions that are not emotionally unintelligent, meaning that you're not making fear or scarcity decisions or excitement decisions, one thing that you can do is make sure that when you're checking to make sure that what you're doing is working, number one, yes, you're going to be able to check the scale, but number one, be sure to check at least 4 things. These 4 things are this, in no particular order: the scale, body fat testing, whether that's a handheld device or pinching, or if that's the hydrostatic weighing, it doesn't matter. Just something that's going to be able to give you a rough estimate of where your current body fat is, and each time that you check back to prove that your body fat is moving in the direction that you think it is, even if the scale is not. So the scale, body fat testing, calipers, what have you, and then doing circumference measurements. Lastly, doing photos. Photos are going to be one of those things that I've had people be very disappointed. For example, Lauren was one of those people, about I think 13 or 14 years ago, when she first started getting into her fitness journey, she had measurements that she was not proud of and her weight barely changed. So she started tearing up as if she was not getting good results. Now, I had already seen her body changing insanely. So what we did is we took the pictures and then she started tearing up again, but this time it was different. She noticed that her butt was different, her stomach was in, everything was tighter, and yet the measurements and the scale did not show that. The photos were the thing that showed her that what she was doing was working, and my gosh, it was working well. So my point with all of this is that there are times that you have altered your diet, that you've taken on overzealous habits, that you've done things that don't serve your long-term goals, all because of the emotional reaction you had to the scale. Whether you're a male or female, it doesn't matter, because I know guys that do the same thing. Oh man, I feel so small today. So what'd you do? You go overeat because you feel small. Or, man, I just feel so fat today after whatever. So what'd you do? You skip a couple meals, you do extra cardio, you do these things that are unhealthy and disordered, all because of one data marker, the scale. So if you want to be a more long-term fitness survivor, somebody who stays fit, who has confidence and doesn't feel like they're constantly being pulled back and forth like I used to all the time, this is how you do it. You pay attention to the data markers that give you the right story so that you can make changes that are necessary, and you can have the confidence that you're not pulling the plug on a method that's actually working to put you in the right direction. There's nothing more sad than that. I've watched it so many times. So I hope that this helps you guys. I hope that you understand this. It's not to dismiss or to, because I know that there are some people that, again, like trainers, they won't get their clients very many results or not much at all. And then they're just like, oh, just stay off the scale. Well, that's not what this is. You should be getting results. It's just that the scale is not going to be the only indicator, and it certainly is not the best indicator of those results being met. So I hope this helped you guys. If you feel like this is something that resonates, something that clicks or adds any value whatsoever, be sure to comment #value in the comments below. Let me know if you guys have any questions as well. And if you feel like somebody needs to hear this, not in a negative way, but in order to break free from the control that the scale has on them, and they need the science that gives them permission to do this, tag them this, or be sure to share this so that they can see this. Make sure that it's polite, make sure that it's not something that's offensive, but everybody deserves to be able to have food freedom, freedom from the scale, and be able to get fit and have confidence without living in the gym. Because our ultimate method, our ultimate focus is to understand, or to help people to understand this thing. Fitness should never be the center of your life, but it should dang sure amplify the quality of it. If you're not living your best life and you're not fit, you're not working out, you're not eating in a way that produces the confidence and the ideal body, the vitality and energy that you're missing, it's time for you to make a choice. And it starts simply with a baby step. So I hope that this helps you today. I hope that this resonates and clicks and gives you a little bit of a paradigm shift so that you can focus going forward this time without letting this scale derail you. My last thing is that if the scale has ever put you in bondage, like it has me, it has Lauren, has different clients, if you feel comfortable, let me know and put hashtag screw the scale in the comments below. If you're that person that you're ready to swear off the scale and go, you know what, the scale is a tool, but not the tool. It's not me, it's not my weight, it's not my personality, it's not my worth. I'm done with the scale. Put hashtag screw the scale. That's what we're starting here, okay? So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys